Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Talk Thursdays, week 1. Yesterday, I went live for Wisdom Wednesday, week 1 of this new online program that I have just launched, the Soul Sanctuary Circle. So I'm not sure who's going to be here in a few moments, but I'm here and I'm going to be here every week for the first 4 weeks of every month until I am divinely led to do something else. This is part of this new leadership paradigm that's anchoring into the new now earth. How does the feminine show up in leadership? Well, as the feminine moves in cycles and seasons, I am now in a new cycle and season of this online program. Anyways, welcome, 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 welcome. Let's drop in with 3 cleansing breaths. If you caught the replay for yesterday's transmission, you know what those cleansing breaths are. Inhale through the nose, long, slow, deep. Exhale through the mouth, long, slow, soft. Go ahead and continue on these cleansing breaths while I clear the energy field and drop us into sacred circle. Beautiful. Yes. Continuing to deepen in that breath, continuing to deepen in the dropping into presence, arriving, landing here fully. So what is Talk Thursday all about? So Talk Thursday is going to be our group circle reflection time to reflect on this week's teachings. This is where you talk about the teaching that was shared on Wednesday, the tarot that was shared on Tuesday, and you bring your questions, your reflections, your insights, and your personal breakthroughs, all right? Your personal breakthroughs. This is also a space where we are accountable for ourselves. We check in on personal goals, and we look at what worked, what didn't work, and then write down some actionable steps to continue forward in the mama manifestation of our dreams. Now, what I am sharing with you here in the Soul Sanctuary Circles are practices that I have and continue to use in my daily life. And I have been developing, discovering, integrating, evolving them through my personal practice and in service with other clients over a decade and a half, right? So I have over 17 years of my own personal and clientele experience that I have woven together, my scholastic background and my shaman initiation years, all woven in together to be here where I am today. So, as it is just me in this room, I'm going to just quickly go over yesterday's teaching. And yesterday, I shared the power of babbling, of breath work, which I will just continue to reiterate till the end of time and beyond. You'll hear my echo. Hello, hello, hello. Are you breathing? Are you breathing? Are you breathing? Anyway, so we talked about allowing space for silly expression to break up the mental chatter. And as I was reflecting yesterday evening on this week's teaching share, bringing me back to those fundamental basics, right? I've been doing this work for so long that sometimes I get so caught in the higher levels, quote unquote, of practice that keep me aligned. And so I deeply appreciate having that opportunity and spaciousness open up for me yesterday, where I was taken back to those first steps before you can even crawl or walk, right? Like babbling. Like that's what babies do when they come out of the womb. They're babbling, they're cooing, they're making sounds. They can't even like hold their own heads up, right? And so it brought me back to this place of smallness. And when I say smallness, I mean in the sense of lightness of being that allows for rest in the arms of the mother. And noticing within that resting space where I have been holding tension in my body because of the external circumstances that I'm currently navigating in my life. And on Terra Tuesday this week, the topic was how to strengthen and empower mental sovereignty. And I shared briefly that I am in the midst of change and transition with my housing again. I need to move by the end of this month. And I'm not sure where I'm going. I have direction, yet I'm not sure when. That's the more accurate point, right? I'm not sure how. I have an idea. I'm definitely not sure when, and I have an idea of where. And with all of that clarity and non-clarity, and that non-clarity is divine surrendering, my choice to be in divine surrendering, right? There is an aspect of peaceful acceptance that has been coming through from me in the last 24 hours of this is where I am now. This is what I have control over. And the rest is in divine alignment and flow. My life thus far has shown me that I am always taken care of, that I am always provided for, that it's okay that I don't know how or when and where or when, just as long as I don't get in my own way and that I am prepared to take that next step, aligned action. And so that practice yesterday of babbling, brought me back into that place of smallness of like, I'm just this tiny, cute little baby, and I can just rest in this unknown space of, I don't know what's happening in my life right now, but it's okay. I can just be here right now. And that click, in addition to space that was afforded me in my physical environment, which I'm deeply grateful for in this current now, so that I can be in my own process of transition and change, because it takes me weeks to pack and I scatter everything, clean and clear and organize everything so that I'm only taking forward what is in alignment for the next chapter. So it takes me a little bit of time, a couple of weeks. It's because I also honor my body in the process and I don't just drive through and push myself beyond unhealthy balance, right? I realized, and this is a breakthrough, okay? Now we're going into breakthrough. First, we reflected on the week's teachings. Now we're talking about breakthroughs. I realized that there was a deeper, very sneaky layer of survival that I had been operating from for the last couple of months. Now, I hit a turning point with the Soul Salon in January of this year. So that was about 6 months ago. I was feeling a lot of pressure with holding the container and being very young in my foundation. Even though I've been developing a relationship with the community, there's still a lot of financial pressure to maintain this space. And I was putting in my effort, I was putting in my work, I was starting to see an increase in clients and people coming in, things were moving forward, and everything was seemingly going well until I made a choice that I stepped into in goodness and faith. And unbeknownst to me in the moment, that choice created an energetic block that started to show up in the physical world as a decrease and a delay in clients coming in money coming in. And so I took a step back and I said, okay, I'm seeing that I've made a choice where there's an energetic block. These are the consequences, right? It's just choice and consequences. There's very little good and evil, right? It's just choice and consequences. Yes, there is evil in this world. And the idea of right and wrong can really create restriction and limitation in the evolution of consciousness. So I avoid using terms like right and wrong. I simply say, perhaps not the most efficient. And nevertheless, we always make choices, or I choose to believe that most of the time we make choices based on the best interests of everybody involved. We don't go into things, we don't make decisions hoping shit doesn't work. And so I made a choice to step back and accept the choice that I had made, that had created blockage, and see where the divine would lead me. And about a week after that, and now we're going into March, right? Like I felt the shift in January, I assessed in February. Come March, I'm like, okay, it's time to pivot. I'm not sure how, when, where, what, who. Let the opportunity present itself. Less than 2 weeks later, the opportunity presented itself. A couple of different choices actually presented themselves. Again, choice and consequence. I made a choice. And my choice brought me into the space that I am in here. My choice was to stay where I was or to shift out of that space and enter into a partnership with someone who made that offer to me. And I chose to accept partnership because why not? We're not meant to do life alone. And if there is an opportunity and an openness and a willingness to grow together, what a gift. So I alchemized my fears, I alchemized some red flags, and I stepped in. And there were things to alchemize, little red flags popping up here and there. This is part of the human experience, or so I believed. And now here we are in the beginning of July, and this being has changed their mind about partnership and exited my life. And this is their space. So now I need to exit their space so they can have their home and their space back, and I can move forward with my life. And I have been wanting to launch this online program, if I'm being honest with y'all, for over a year. But last year was really not possible. Okay, I was just coming out of 3 years of very intense Bardo training. I was just starting to like feel strength returning into my hands, and I was in deep housing instability. I was going from house sitting to little, staying here and there and here and there until I did a ceremony and I said, no, enough is enough. Like, come on, God, like, you've given me a sacred mission. I'm willing to serve the mission. Give me a space to serve said mission. And then that's when the space for the Soul Salon opened, and there has been growth and expansion in my life. And so last month, towards the end of last month, as I was feeling this energy shifting, right, I could feel it coming. I could feel something happening. I knew that there was a turning point coming. Did I expect this turning point to be the way that things have unfolded? No. Yet I intuitively felt that something was coming. And I asked, where do I put my focus and attention on? And the answer was the Soul Salon. But then the Soul Salon doors closed, and I'm like, I'm fucking confused. I don't have a physical space. And I heard my guides laugh. Archangel Metatron just started laughing. It's like, yeah, you do. You have the online space. We've been telling you to do this online. And I'm like, well, how am I going to show up online regularly every week if in 4 weeks I don't know where I'm going to be, let alone if I'm going to have internet access? They're like, they just kept on laughing. Archangel Metatron, Master Yeshua, a couple of the guys. They're just laughing. How small-minded are you? That do you not see how you are so provided and protected? Can you not see this rejection is redirection? Can you not see that it has continued to get better and better? Oh my gosh, I start laughing. I'm sitting there babbling and laughing. And so over the last 24 hours, as I was reflecting on this teaching, as I was coming back into the fundamental basics, right, the beginner steps of babbling and cooing, I was reminded of the importance of being in that state of innocence and purity, of curiosity and wonder, of trust that I'm going to wake up today, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and I'm going to get to play. And then I found this picture on the computer. I don't know if you can see it clearly. It's a kitty riding a unicorn floaty. And it says the type of vibe I'm on this month. I'm like, okay, I accept that for myself. I'm just going to be a fluffy white cat drinking a little juice cocktail on my unicorn floaty in the water, surrendered, having the best time of my life right now. I am not going to feed the cycle of stress. I am not going to feed the cycle of survival anymore. I am not going to feed the cycle of people pleasing anymore. I am not going to feed the cycle of playing small anymore. I realized in the last 24 hours, as I was allowing myself to be in this smallness, be in this lightness of being, be in this space of feeling so held by the divine, by the earth mother, that I saw this deeper, very sneaky layer of survival that I had been operating from, that had triggered me to make the choices I had made. And thus, because I had been operating from that space of survival, my choices led to consequences that were not favorable. I made choices based on survival, not on empowered thriving, or at the very minimum, the faith that I am abundant by nature. I perceived that I was making decisions based on the highest good of all, which in that moment was my truth. Yet that truth was coming through that distorted lens of, if I don't make this choice, I'm not going to make it on my own. And that's part of that survival piece, right? Is the perception that we can't do it on our own, when that in itself is not a truth, because we are never alone. We are always held by the divine. We are always held by the utmost high. We are always held by the soul contract that we have signed up for to come into this timeline to activate and live out. And that highest timeline has our best interest in heart. So we make choices based on where we are operating in this current now. And where we are operating in this current now may or may not be from that point of divine purity, that divine blueprint before it was programmed with the maternal DNA and the paternal DNA and the societal stuff, and boom, 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 compounding. Some could call it people pleasing. I didn't see it that way. I believed I was making the best choice for me. If I don't take these opportunities, then I'm going to be alone, and it's going to be much more difficult. Oh, but I was never alone to begin with. So my breakthrough was this deeper layer of understanding the scarcity and the survival thread that was yet within me. And I'm sure there might be more layers, right? Yet now that I have this clarity within me of, oh shit, silly me. I've been doing this work for over a decade and there's still those little layers. Okay, fine. Breathe. Babble. Stretch through your mouth. Yawn. Come back to center. So I've created this online platform, and I'm very good at holding myself accountable. I'm very good at meeting my own goals. The reason I am in the position of my life where I'm at right now is because I have chosen to face my fears. I have chosen to alchemize doubt. I have chosen to stand in my inner knowing and my conviction of what is good for me, discovering deeper layers of that, of course, and continuing to evolve in my empowered, authentic sovereignty. So for the next few weeks, I'm here as far as I know. I mean, I could shift next week, but I don't think that's going to happen just based on intuition. So I get to be in the space, holding accountability to being present in the moment for myself, independent of what is going on around me. Now we're going into the accountability section of Talk Thursdays. What am I holding accountability for? I am holding accountability for showing up for myself. I'm holding accountability for showing up in this space and sharing authentically what is going on in my life. Something that came up for me over the last few months, again and again and again, when I would connect with various people around the community, people who call themselves friends and allies of mine. And they asked me how I'm doing. And in moments, I would share some of the challenges that I was facing, because building a soul-led business is fucking hard, y'all. Okay. Building a soul-led business is really hard. And not because it's hard, but because the world is currently built on a very masculine construct, a very masculine, very linear system. But we're not all male bodies. And so what I'm building is not just a business. It's not just a legacy. It's not just an ecocentric education temple to reform our way of educating our descendants. Okay. I am also building a female led legacy, which means that I operate in seasons and cycles. I do not operate in linear time. I do not operate on a Gregorian calendar. I do not operate or abide. I do not bow to certain conditions and limitations that are set out by a system that does not take people's best interests in hand. That these external constructs that are falling away, that are being reshuffled and recalibrated for greater balance of the divine union of the masculine and feminine, that external stuff is what makes it hard. And so when I go through experiences like this, I feel pissed the fuck off. And I can choose to be enraged or be enraged and do something about it. So I'm showing up and I'm being honest with y'all. I am present and centered and so aligned and clear within here, but all around me, it's fucking chaos. Okay. I got stuff everywhere right now. I got one altar. Okay. 2 altars. Let's be honest. I got 2 altars right now. That is not enough for someone like me. I'm making the best I can with it. I'm guided to be present, to take one step at a time, to receive. So what are my personal goals now? Okay, this is the next part of this Talk Thursdays. Let's talk about personal goals. My personal goal right now is to honor my body. My number one. Okay, in the last 24 hours, I have felt so utterly exhausted, feeling some chills in my body, feeling a little bit of earache, feeling a little bit of a headache, feeling a bit of a throat. And I recognize it's my body decompressing. It's my cortisol levels dropping. It's my nervous system chilling the fuck out. And noticing my body in that is what helps me come into these deeper understandings of, oh, I've been in survival for the last few months and I didn't even fucking know it. Because that was my normal hell. That was my familiar quote unquote heaven, to just be in stress all the time, addicted to the dysfunction, addicted to the chaos, addicted to the hyper fixating on the minutiae and details of perfectionism that aren't in service to being. So I've been really moving slowly over the last 24 hours, and I'm going to continue moving slowly over the next few days. My medicine is to receive. My medicine right now is to be in the feminine. I went and I bought 4 new sundresses yesterday. And then my beloved, someone that I'm dating right now, bought me this beautiful dress that I'm wearing right now. Thank you for the gift. I can't remember the last time I went and I bought myself a dress that wasn't black or white. Yes, I know this is white, but it's got cute little fishes on it. It's very beachy, very summery, feeling very much the vibes of the summer. It just felt good to go and receive my own feminine energy. I did my nails earlier this week, and that's a practice that I've been bringing back into my life. So that's my big personal goal right now, is to recover the peace in my heart, to reset my sense of ease within myself. Because this next shift that I'm going into is going to be even bigger than the shift that I just experienced. I know this. I can feel it. I've been doing this alchemical soul high level work for many years now. I can feel that something big is coming in. I knew that in January. I didn't move out of my previous place until the end of April. But I knew in January that something big was coming, and something big came. And I was able to get through it. I surprised and surpassed even my own self. And I always pray. This is one of the teachings that I received in Access Higher Consciousness from one of my teachers, is how does it get any better than this? What else is possible? Show me, universe, how good it gets. And so I always bring that at the end of my prayers, at the end of my gratitudes, at the end of my receivings, at the end of my asks. How does it get any better than this? What else is possible? Show me, universe, how good it gets. Right now, the goodness that I'm experiencing is peace and quiet in the home, so that I can breathe, so I can be in my own energy field, so I can think without all this extra pressure that I don't need. I have enough pressure of my own stuff and my own responsibilities and my own sacred commitments that I'm in. So that's my big personal goal. And then actionable plans to Mama Manifest Dreams is the last part of Talk Thursdays. Well, here I am with the Soul Sanctuary Circle online. And there's a lot of stuff to do for it behind the scenes. I'm building a new website. I'm still figuring out the platforms and the syncing of the different platforms. I'm so grateful that I figured out YouTube Live memberships. Thank you, technology, for making it easy for me to show up and share my truth and my light. But I still have a lot of recalibration and restructuring to do. So my goal this week is to get the website finished, or at least make good progress with it, right? If I don't get it finished, it's okay. I can hold myself in grace and get it running so that My products, my books, my teachings, my courses, my guides are available and accessible, and I can put that out there for the community. Can run ads, and I can start generating some income again, because my income has been on a bit of a freeze over the last few months while I've been in this big transition. And I have trusted and been patient, right? Okay, we're in a little bit of a dry season right now. It's not the end of the world, but now it's time to feel the heat of summer, feel the heat of momentum, feel the fires of transformation, and ride that energy and momentum. So getting my website ready and getting my shop running so I can have orders coming in and out. And the little moving pieces with that are my two of my work goals this week. And then my third goal that I'll share with you. So my first was my self-care, honoring my body's need for rest, for taking it easy. The second was getting all the moving pieces ready for the Soul Sanctuary Circle and getting the website and all of that set up and sorted so that you have access to these videos and catch these replays and hopefully join me, next week and moving forward regularly, because I love this work that I do. I don't really see this as work. I mean, I'm doing this for myself. And if I get to share this space with you, what a fucking gift. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift. And then the third, this beautiful man that I recently started dating, his birthday is on 7/7. And I'm hosting a birthday party for him on Saturday. And I have some things planned for him starting tomorrow through Tuesday. And so really just being present with him and celebrating him and honoring him and loving up on him and being in that energy of play and joy and celebration, right? Choosing to be in alignment with trust. Yes, there's all of this life stuff happening. And there's this life here, right here, happening. And I can dance in both. That's part of being a master alchemist, is being to dance in between worlds. So if you are catching this replay, I would love to hear from you. Reflections on this week's teachings, personal breakthroughs. What are you holding yourself accountable for? What are you asking accountability for? What are your top 3 goals in the week ahead? Personal and professional, a mixture. And what are your steps? What are your action steps? Comment. And then when we meet next week, we can see if we've made progress towards that, how and why. And if not, how and why, and what can be done to be improved. Thank you so much for joining me today on Talk Thursdays, Mindful Reflection Circle. Tomorrow, Freedom Friday, Integration Circle. It's going to be a very low energy session, similar to today, but diving a little deeper into intuitive development and integrating our sovereignty practices, sharing progress, asking for and receiving support, right? If you want to just hang out and work on your project while we're sharing space together, beautiful. Very low energy. I'm here. I'll be here holding off open office hours. And we're meeting at 1:00 tomorrow. So let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it all go. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, let it all go. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Thank you, Sacred One, for being here today. I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you next week. Continue to take care of your beautiful, radiant self. You are so loved.